Hi everyone. Do you ever get asked, how do you afford it? When I've been asked this question, I've thought, gosh, that's kind of rude. Because we're brought up in a society where talking openly about money and personal finances has always been kind of off limits. And so when presented with such a question, it's kind of uncomfortable. So why then do people ask or even think this question? Personally, I think it comes down to the perception that people have of your financial situation. You know, Subconsciously, I think we are all guilty of piecing together a story about someone's life based on the information we know of them, such as their job, their education, their family background. And using this information, we create an impression of that person. But in doing this, we inherently make assumptions about that person's lifestyle and end up forming these sort of expectations of what we think they can and cannot afford. Now, when we make these assumptions, we're also assuming what that person values, what their priorities are and what brings them pleasure and joy in a monetary sense. But because spending habits are based on such personal decisions, the conclusions that we form are often not accurate. So when somebody then does something outside of these kind of expectations, as it were, it challenges our understanding of their circumstances, leading to the question, how do you afford it? And when this question of affordability surfaces, it typically comes down to what people perceive to be expensive. And I think that, social media has a really big part to play in creating a perhaps unintentional illusion of seeming like we have more than we actually do. For example, I often get asked about my frequent travels because this is something that I choose to post about. And whilst I do travel a lot, I think that people fail to see the sacrifice that goes into affording it. If I travel, it's because I don't buy new clothes very often or fancy gadgets or because other hobbies have taken a back seat. And most of us are unlikely to share the sort of, well, hey, saved money by not going out tonight. But often people fail to see this bigger picture. Ultimately, people derive different value from how they spend their money. And because most of us don't have unlimited funds, we're often required to make a choice about how we assign worth to things. And whilst it's easy to be misguided by our preconceived ideas of a person's lifestyle, we really have to try harder not to forget that behind closed doors, priorities are being set with careful consideration, and that these decisions don't ever really need to be justified to anybody else. I really hope that you've enjoyed watching this video. As always, I'd really like to know if you've ever had a similar experience, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.